All right. Thank you for waiting. I don't know how getting slower and slower, but it's gonna be fixed. So I hope you had a nice day today, and let's begin. Okay. Yesterday we were in the speaking section over here, and we were in exercise 2. We did that also, and exercise 3 using those expressions for the present and past. Now, in exercise 4, it says, read these quotes with your partner. Which do you agree or disagree with? Give reasons using expressions from exercise 2. So I'm going to put you in a group, okay, outside. And you have some time to talk with your partners and discuss, yeah? And which do you agree or disagree with? And you have to give reasons. So with your partners, you have to speak to each other. When we return, you have to present something, okay? The reasons why you agree or disagree. And share with your partner's answer. So if I have an A, it says entertainment is far better and more varied than it was in the past. So maybe some of you will disagree or agree, and maybe I will ask Marcelo. So what did you thought about? What did you think about A? And he might say, we all disagree, or we all agree except on something like that. Yeah. So I need for you to communicate and talk about those points, those quotes. All right. So let me put you in groups. I mean, you're gonna be just separated from me. That's all. Okay. So let me put you in a group and talk. Chat with your partners. Okay. Chat with them. What they think. And what conclusion do you get from it? So please accept. Please, please. Go. Mr. Andre, Ms. Jocelyn, Mr. Marcelo, and to the other group. Thank you. Jocelyn and Marcelo. Come on, come on. Accept. Okay, so Marcelo, they're waiting for you. All right, so I think you finished with your partners. You said, I don't know, I want to hear all of you say what you talked about, okay? Let me share this. All right, so we have A, entertainment is far better and more varied than it was in the past. What did you think? What conclusion did you get? What can you say, Miss Leticia, about A? Or anybody? What conclusions you got for A?
Is for A, we all agreed. We because nowadays you have computers, cell phones, and inside your computer you have things like YouTube, the access to the internet, so you really have an almost unlimited access to entertainment. And in
Mm,
the past, they only some people could access to listen to music or something like that, but nowadays almost everyone can access to it.
yeah, that's right. Very good. B, people felt much happier and more secure when everyone lived together in big families. I want to hear, what do you think? Now, I hope you talked about our own culture and different types of cultures that we have around the world. But what was your conclusion in B? Who disagrees or who agrees, and give reasons. B. Marcelo, what can you say? Leticia, Mr. George. What's the overall conclusion here?
We think that the number of a family doesn't match, it could be doesn't be matched with the happiness, because also a big, uh, obviously a big family is crazy because there is always something new or problems in a big family, but that the number depending of the happiness, I think, no, we think is not a lot of much in common.
Oh,
And yes.
all right. So what I understood is that all of you don't mind about the size of the family, right? So people feel much happier. So what I understand when there are bigger families, of course there are bigger problems, and secure when everyone lives together in big families. So you don't all of you agree that it doesn't matter the size to be happy. All right. See, life's more stressful today than it's ever been before. What can you say about that? What's your conclusion? More stressful today than it's ever been before. Hmm? What can you say? Mr. George, Miss Leticia. Okay.
Miss Forty, we all agree
Mhm.
that life is more stressful today more than ever before because nowadays people have a lot of things to do, like work. The ambient is also different from in the past because you have the cars and all the noise,
Yeah,
and you have to pay taxes and a lot of things really. And people also worry too much about little things like social media nowadays, things
yeah.
that didn't have in the past. So yes, the present is a lot more stressful today.
Very good. Also, Miss George says, in the past, people spent much time at home with their families rather than now. However, nowadays people frequently have some action out of their homes. As a result, the action can increase stress. Activities. Instead of action, you can say activities. Okay, so yeah, things have changed, but not many people accept. That's really unusual, but they always compare with the past. I don't know if you have that problem. Uh, in my times, we used to do many things, and in my times, but um, yeah, I like Andre's reasons. There are much more things that around the environment that we have, right? There are more traffic jams, more activities to do, like Mr. George says. So at home, it's like a relief when we get home. We just don't want to do anything else. Very good. D. Young people, that means you, young people, especially women, have far more opportunities than their parents or grandparents. generations had. Okay, so this is your term, Miss Leticia. Do you agree with this or not? I don't know if you're here in class. Oh, yes, there you are. So what do you say, Miss Jocelyn? Oh, she's there. But, mm, especially women, yeah, we have much more opportunities than parents or grandparents. Yeah, women used to be just in the kitchen. I mean, they had to be in the kitchen all day long at home. Uh, I'm not saying I'm against it, but not even the unfortunate about that was they couldn't finish their studies. Yeah, and most of the women were married young and had children at a young, not a really young age, like 14, 15. No, some maybe, but maybe in their early 20s, they already were moms. So most of uh, the family take care of was their way, their opportunities. And once women were, I don't know, were taught to be more, I think things have changed a lot. Yeah, so yeah, I'm grateful for that, for those opportunities. Yeah, it's great. But still, it's not the same. It's not the same, unfortunately. E, compared with 30 years ago, life's much more dangerous now, particularly in the cities. What do you say, gentlemen? I don't know where Leticia is, but what do you say about E? 30 years ago, maybe it didn't exist, but I don't know. Or 20 years ago. What can you say about this? Hmm? E. Life is much more dangerous now in the cities. Gentlemen.
Miss, for this one, we disagree.
Hmm.
Uh, at least personally, I don't know how was life 30 years ago, but I don't think that much has changed, especially in the cities. But I don't think that um, nowadays life is really dangerous today in the cities. So I really don't know exactly how was life, so I can't say it. But
Yeah.
I guess that there wasn't enough difference.
Well, well, you can talk about that with me. When I was 9, or even when I was 8, no, even 7 years old, I used to take the big buses to go to my music academy. And I used to walk along with my little brother from school back home. And no one, I mean, no one had that evilness to kidnap. And maybe you would hear the news of someone stealing your wallet, but it was on the news that stole your wallet. I mean, that was how dangerous it was. But now I have my son, he's 14, and I'm scared to death. If he has to go somewhere, I'm always keeping in touch with him. Yeah, he goes and practices some sports, but I'm really afraid of what might happen. So comparing, I felt really free when I was at his age. I and with this COVID pandemic that we cannot let them out. Even you guys, when you go to parties, there's always something evil. There's always something that you have to take care of yourself because they're slipping drugs. The girls can be raped. or you can be robbed by anybody. So there's a lot of tendency of evilness. I don't know if I let myself understand. In my times when I went dancing with my friends, we used to take care of each other, and no one had that meanness to hurt us as women. But now everything, I'm taking the number of your car. I mean, who's gonna drive you back? I mean, it's I remember when I was at college and university, I when we went out with my girlfriends as groups in carnival time. I don't drink, but I was the mother of all of them. So I remember taking them to their homes, taking a cab alone, not writing nobody's answers or whatever, and going back home. And I felt really free. But now girls cannot do that. Gentlemen, I don't know. I remember that my friends, when we were in a group, they used to take me at home, walking on the streets. No one was around to harm us. So I lived in a very in Oruro or La Paz or anywhere I was in that age. I felt free. I never felt anguished or frightened what might happen. But the things have changed now a lot. Um, you always have to be secure. You always have to have your phone with you. Who you're going with. You have so I don't know. It's a bit stressful. That's why I really enjoyed that time. Now I don't see that it's the same. I'm really sorry. That's how if we compare 30 years ago. Yeah, I felt the master of my life, and no one could hurt. The only dangerous thing was in my 30 years ago were the neck, uh, los cogoteros, that where you went in the cab. And that was only in La Paz and Santa Cruz. And that was the most dangerous thing that never, ever, ever happened to anybody that I knew of. So but every time I think everybody had to face danger, but there wasn't that harm, like someone that really wants to do to harm you, like today. Yeah. So there's a list of things that I never felt that when I was really young. Okay. And if in general, most people are in better health today than any time in history. What do you think about that?
Miss, I have to be honest, we didn't get to this part because the time ran out.
Okay.
But I'm gonna talk for myself. I agree with this, and I think that is interesting because we can still talk about the the point above in with this because nowadays people are healthier than
Yes.
before, but people have um, are more afraid of coming from their houses because what you were saying, right? That they think that something is going to happen to them. And this is interesting, at least for me, because I remember that my uh, professors
Mm.
in the university used to tell me that this was more psychological than the reality because nowadays we heard so much bad news almost all the time because we have the TV, we have our cell phones, or really from everywhere. We receive bad news all the time, so
Yeah.
we start to think, oh, nowadays it's so dangerous. But in the past, you didn't knew all what was happening
Yeah.
around you. You only talk with your neighbor and that's it. But nowadays you know almost everything all the time and you are scared to death. But that could be something more of because our brains are not prepared to receive too much information all the time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how nowadays people have better lives, but they are scared to live.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Mr. Andre, very good. Yeah. That's why man, social media has helped. It has ruined people's life also. And in that way of being always afraid. And I agree with you. Yeah, you make great sense of that. Um, but the difference that I told you is that we didn't feel that 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 fear, right? Like we do now. And that's something negative, of course. And that's something that you're crossing with the health today. Yeah. Many people believe that I'm really, really young because I like to take care of myself, but I'm not young. And most of the generation of my 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 generation, we look young, but we're not. And that's something that someone told me. Yeah, that is already 70 years old, and she said, "You don't look like your age. You don't act like your age. Uh, but you lived so like you were teens." And I think talking with I don't know, my friends from my own age, and I explained to them, maybe we don't look at what we should look at when we were with people that were our ages because they look older. Because my mom says, at your age, I had my hair was permed and short, and I was always all my generation. She says were overweight, but mm, all of you are different. Long hair and try to be fit. So I'm not fit, but you will be much better. So that's why maybe some of you are confused to be in school, but you really take care of yourself. But that's great. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. So when we return, we're going to do IELTS practice.